Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Loose Warhammer. You're joined today by me, John the Oracle Lamin, Scott the Duke McHugh.
You got it the right way around, well done.
James the Loremaster Lamin. I was very conscious about getting that right.
The stress etched upon his visage, if you will. Quite a chaotic hobby station today, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. There's a
Not
lot
for
of
me, I have a
stuff.
single pink horror. That's not even mine.
Is that what you're actually working on?
No,
You've got a stack
that.
of pink comments, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, I've got Corsairs I'm painting today.
Ooh.
Welcome back to a guestless episode of Loose Warhammer.
Yeah, there's no space in the studio anymore for a guest.
No, not at the minute. And, you know, I'm just sort of casually putting some glue on some bases over here. But yeah, not really. It's not really been much that's happened in the last couple
I
of
don't know
weeks.
what we're going to talk
Nothing
about.
of
Challenging
So.
for us today
Nothing of note.
to find some topics to talk about. But you know, we endeavour, if you will.
Yeah, we'll do our best. I suppose we could, maybe talk about Warhammer Day that happened a couple of weeks or
Oh,
what would it be, a
good
few
shout!
weeks ago.
Yeah, can't think
Yeah.
of anything good happen on Warhammer Day.
A couple of 40k releases.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really my jam anymore.
On the
though.
video,
No.
they showed
Striking
off.
Scorpions were nice.
Yeah, they showed
Yeah,
off the
they
Striking Scorpion video a little bit early.
They did. They did. It was very
I
fun.
forgot about that.
Little tidbit for everyone.
If you didn't watch the coverage, there you go.
Yeah.
We're all sort of quite in the zone. Of course, we're quite in the zone because obviously there was a rather large announcement around of the 25mm base variety, if you will. So
Other sizes are available.
base size is still controversial. So yeah, huge announcement old world wise. I've already done a video for it. I think you've already done a video for it.
I have. I have.
So yeah, we're all
Mine was
sitting here.
very excited about the one of the models in particular they showed off, which was one of three ways to build it, I suppose, was the Duke on Raw Pegasus for
Oh, it was nice.
the Kingdom of Bretonia. It was very nice.
Very
yeah.
nice.
Big fan. I like all of the builds out of that little set, to be honest, that they've shown off so far. The Baron and the BSB as well.
I sort of glazed over or glossed across all the stuff they released on that day. All the images they released, but didn't really get too hardcore into depth in terms of my opinion on it all.
Yeah.
I just sort of said a lot of the word gorgeous if you've watched the video.
Doing your best 90s Jamie Oliver impression.
Was that
Other
his,
TV chefs are
was
available.
that his thing in the 90s?
Yeah, he shouted gorgeous a lot.
Oh, did he?
Bucker.
I remember Bucker, but
The naked chef, you could say.
no one knows who we're talking about. If you're not British, you don't know.
You
Sorry.
don't need to know. Other TV chefs are available.
Yeah, they are. Gordon Ramsay.
Much
Um,
Raymond Blanc, you know, anyone really. Michel Roux Jr., if you like it, a little more European.
And we're dangerously close to moving into to antique Warhammer territory from last time. So
Back to Warhammer Day.
yeah, big announcement. That Sorceress on Foot for me. The more I've looked at the releases, the more I feel like she could be my favourite.
See, I've seen
Which is a bit out there. I know.
I've seen a lot of criticism online about
So have I.
What is wrong with people on the internet?
No, I see a lot of people.
We're people on the internet.
We are.
What's wrong with people that aren't me on the internet?
I see a lot of people particularly upset with her base, and I remember sitting there and being like, I think the base is amazing. I love like the lilies on the base, and she's like coming off that rock. I think it's really cool.
I like how the base looks. Like I like the actual sort of the little rock and the flowers. I like that. I'm not sure about the fact that she seems to be floating.
Yeah, I've seen some people online.
That's what I'm not sure
It's
about.
very similar to the Alarial base,
Yes.
Yeah.
which
Yes.
I really like.
I do like, and I don't mind it so much on Alarial because she's an elf. And you can sort of explain that away by, she's really good at magic, so she's just making herself float.
Well, I mean, she could be a level 4 wizard, this lady on foot.
She could, but she is still a human.
Well, I'm imagining
she has
levitation is
been-
quite a basic magical power.
Can you do it?
Paul Daniels can. he doesn't even have to roll to channel the winds of magic. Is he died?
Paul Daniels.
Yeah.
He died ages ago.
Years ago, mate.
His wife was who was his wife?
Debbie McGee.
Debbie McGee. Yeah.
Oh
Rest
my
in
God,
peace,
yeah,
Paul
I've
Daniels.
just realised. Sorry, Paul. But yeah, he can do
can't
that.
hear.
David Copperfield, there's another one. He can do
Other
levitation.
TV magicians are available.
Yeah, David Copperfield does levitation.
Yeah, I suppose Ron Weasley couldn't, so it can't be that easy.
No, but he was saying it wrong, wasn't he? It's Leviosa,
Not Leviosa.
not Leviosa. Yeah, so
Other children's wizard books are available.
Are they?
I think they are, but I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy them as much. Do you know what's really funny? Just before we started, I spent about 5 or 6 minutes looking for all my paints for a sepia. I'd put the sepia on the table already, so I found another one.
Oh, goodness me. What a
It's been a day for the
What a
Loremaster so far.
performance!
clearly.
Clearly.
I think she's lovely. I did see someone online. I've seen a couple of people mention it, and I'm going to mention this and potentially ruin the model for you both.
No, you're not.
Oh, come on now.
Someone online said that it, quote, looks like Princess Leia when she's flying through space in Star Wars Episode 8.
I disagree.
So I did disagree, and I was annoyed that they mentioned that other sci-fi films are available.
They are.
Like better ones as well.
I mean, I've not seen Star Wars Episode 8, so
You're missing nothing.
thankfully that's
Some
not
nice
ruined anything for me.
cinematography. You're missing some nice cinematography, I'll say that.
Okay, good. Back to Warhammer, because I feel like we've digressed.
That is generally how Loose Warhammer goes.
Yeah. But
It's
the models,
It's loosely Warhammer, if you will.
the models weren't even arguably the biggest news we
No,
got
they really
on
weren't.
Warhammer Day.
I would say.
We also got confirmation, and this is actual confirmation, that the Old World will be one of Games Workshop's first releases in the new year. Now, for sort of immediately after they said that, we sort of took that to mean probably February. They don't generally release anything, certainly not anything big in January. No one really does because everyone spent all their money in Christmas.
The thing is, for me, I am not really in the February camp either.
No?
I know February's becoming like a hot thing online where everyone's like, February. But February, I mean, again, I'm basing this on when I worked for workshops a long time ago. The world's changed quite a lot since then. I could be miles off. But February was always pretty much financially the worst month of the year. Because everyone sort of had the first credit card after Christmas. They're quite miserable. The weather's still really drab, and everyone's kind of feeling in that sort of down space. And generally, we just used to make far less sales in that period. And I've talked to people who worked in other retail sectors, and that's a very similar sort of thing. So it could be that they go down the February route and think, "We'll go February.
Might make it
you know,
a better
it
month
might
for
make it
us."
a really good month for us."
Yeah.
But the challenge there, I suppose, is then how do you make February a great month the year after? Like in terms of your kind of
That's
your
the
year
thing,
on year
sort
sort of running a business rather than
Commercially, you always want to better last year's results
if
from the
you
same
can.
period.
That is true.
So
but
for me, I think it'll be an Easter release. I think it'll be March. Or
Okay.
I think
I
if
feel
you
like
can
March.
is the core word in that, because there ain't no way that they're going to release anything this year that will match up to the sales of Leviathan. So
No, that's
you
true.
do have to bear that
That's
in
true,
mind.
but
You do have
that's
to bear that in
another
mind.
reason I think to consider putting it into March, where it's going to go up against more comparable numbers. March is generally quite a big release.
I can't remember what they released this year in March.
I don't know. I can find out.
I don't think it was that big because
It wouldn't have been anything huge for 40k, I wouldn't have thought, with Leviathan
no,
a
because
couple
you
of
had
months
Leviathan.
away.
It wasn't anything huge for iOS.
Don't know on that one. But
I'm going to look now.
okay. But also, since then, there has been rumours of a deleted tweet from Warhammer community that effectively confirmed it would be February. Now, we didn't see this personally on Warhammer community's Twitter
So
page.
all we've seen is screenshots
All
of
we've seen-
screenshots.
Yeah, so it's all very sort of
Screenshot of a Twitter post, or X, as it's now
Yes,
said now,
yes.
is
X, formerly known as
screenshots of an
Twitter.
X post
My favourite phrase to see in the media.
on Reddit. So you've got a screen post of an X post on a screenshot of an X post of a screenshot of a Reddit post on Facebook. So it's there's a lot going around, and I think the problem is that particularly tweets are just about one of the easiest things to falsify on the internet. I think it doesn't really get easier to mock up a tweet than anything else.
Yeah.
So I think you do just have to take it because I didn't see it with my own eyes. I just can't sit there and be like, yeah, I definitely saw that tweet. It definitely happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. I unlike the Loremaster, I am in the February camp. I think mainly because it would be sort of difficult for us, and therefore it will inevitably
Mainly because
be
it'd be
February.
really unpleasant for us.
Yeah. So inevitably it will be February. But either way, one of the
I
first
think
releases.
it might have been Lizardmen.
no,
Oh really?
no, Lizardmen weren't March.
That long ago?
No, Lizardmen weren't March.
I mean, we might find out before the end of the video, but let us know if
I'll
you
keep
know.
looking.
Could have
I am
been
looking.
the Seraphon box. Hold on, I know when I got it. I've got photos. So let me check the timestamps.
Okay, well, it's just you and me, folks.
So let him check the timestamps, and I'm gonna keep seeing if I can find out what was there.
But so I mean, for me, one of the first releases probably means Q1, which means if it isn't, it's almost certainly not gonna be Jan. If it isn't Feb, it's pretty much gonna be March.
it could be Jan, right? The big thing there is that
cool.
you get the post Christmas bump, right? Where everyone's got their Christmas money. And I think there will be people, particularly with this game, that will say, "Just give me the money."
Lizard Men were an end of April, start of May release.
Okay, there you go. So I wasn't quite in the right place. So we've got to work out what came just before them.
One rank of pink horror's done.
So
They also confirmed on the video it would be a 2-week pre-release, which I think.
did they?
Yeah.
I thought that was just a leak. I didn't think that was confirmed on the video.
I thought they said that on the video.
No, I think that was
they
just a
didn't.
leak.
That was one of those. Sorry.
See, there's so much misinformation out there. Even I'm getting confused about what I heard on the video.
Looking
I
through
thought
my
they said it was-
photos, I have just found a photo of when I flooded my kitchen.
Interesting.
But either way, good fun. I think that was a rumour. There was a few things they did confirm on the post, which they didn't confirm on the release.
In the sort of stream.
When they did the stream and they did the post about all the new releases, there was mention to. Obviously, we've had mention to the fact that the Trebuchet has been remade in Forge World Finecast. Forge World Resin, which I think personally myself means that everything that was Finecast is now going to be re-released in Forge World Resin. Because they, on all of their posts, they've spoke about returning plastic models and specifically returning metal models. But they've never said returning Finecast. And we've now seen that the Trebuchet, a model that was produced in Finecast,
was produced in metal first as well. So I think it's interesting that they
so
haven't gone
metal
back to metal.
Finecast, and then they've gone with remade it in Forge World Resin. I think that means that resin models, that Forge World Resin models, is going to replace Finecast models.
I could see that.
Interesting.
That's just my thoughts, but I digress. What I was actually going to say was they confirmed that we're going to see much larger unit sizes in boxes.
Yeah,
they did.
They specifically made mention to a 32-man box of archers, which is probably just about the biggest box of models outside of like a battalion or something they've ever released. I mean, I think of even the biggest models like Storm Vermin were only ever a box of 20.
Right. So last March it was Arcs of Omen when they released the Commander Farsight.
The Farsight model.
And they did all those boxes, and then the first week of April they released, that finished in sort of the first and second week of April with the line. Now that was a massive release. The line, it was a huge release. It crashed Games Workshop's website. I remember it doing it because we were talking about it at the time. So I think that for me is definitely the slot that I'd be looking at.
So sort of end of March, April.
March, maybe April. Yeah, that sort of slot, so that you're picking up that gap. But then you do have to think that technically April's quarter 2. So maybe not. So maybe it will go up against.
Very close to the financial year end.
Maybe that's the way they'll finish off the financial year. Big burst.
Possibly sort of end of March.
Like March time, and then it goes up against Farsight, which again was a model that you couldn't get for love nor money when it came out because so many people wanted it. So
he was specifically in that Combat Patrol. I never released him separately, so the box just went through.
Flew off the shelves. So
lovely model as well. I'd like to pick him up, but at the minute I'm just not playing 40k, and I'm loath to buy models for a game that I'm not really playing at the minute. I've already got a basically fully unpainted Sister Battle Army, so. I played some bits, and what I did paint I was very pleased.
I didn't even know you bought that.
Yeah, I've seen you photos like the Rhino and stuff.
Oh yeah, you did. Sure.
So I'm doing it all with the Bloody Rose, and it's a lot of work, but it does look very nice.
Yeah, this banner does not stand up.
No, they
think horror.
So I'm hoping to get these done for a battle report we're filming, which is this Ushapti, which I'm going to put into a bigger unit of cool stuff. Sorry,
that's not other.
That's not other Ushapti. Sorry, and then I feel like they've said there's going to be another big army announcement before Christmas, and I think we all kind of feel like that's going to be Tomb Kings.
Yeah.
Well, on the grounds they've shown off a resin Tomb King alongside that on-foot Paladin.
Yeah.
It does make, for me, perfect sense.
The most sense.
Yeah. Or are they going to come completely out of left field? Was the Tomb King a bamboozle? And are we going to see Kislev, because we've seen the concept arts for the Kislev.
I really think that
I firmly believe it's not Kislev, but I'd love it to be.
I think we'd all forgotten about that, hadn't we? Almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I actually think that was really odd that happened, and I do wonder now if that was one group of people not talking to another, perhaps. Because we've seen nothing about those other new factions, and it would be the obvious thing to have done would have been to just re-release the old figures and then done Kislev and Cafe, or done Kislev like that.
I think
new stuff, new box. Could be though. John could be right. We could be about to get bombarded with Kislevites, but
I do. Yes,
I don't think anything stands. I don't think there's anything that would indicate that that's the case.
No, the fact that they've already released that list of supported factions.
Yeah.
That didn't include any new factions like that.
And they also showed off that artwork. A lot of Tomb King artwork's been shown off as well.
Yeah, and like that. What was it? Was it Warhammer Fest when they showed off the Tomb King?
And no, it was much earlier in the year, wasn't it?
No, the Tomb King was shown off at Warhammer Fest.
It was Warhammer Fest.
Yeah,
It was where they had the Q&A after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that whole stream and Q&A session, that was all about Bretonia and Tomb
Tomb
Kings.
Kings, yeah, I agree.
I do, Jess.
I can't imagine it's not going to be the Tomb King boys.
I do think it's
think
odd that we've not seen anything Tomb King at all, and it's all been Bretonia since then. Like, that always did sit weird with me, that they've gone all Bretonia and then we'll show you some Tomb King.
But I suppose if it was an end of February, March release, like I sort of feel, that would mean that, and they did say there'll be the next announcement will be for a different faction.
Yeah.
It would mean that you'd have about the same amount of time pushing on
for each one.
with Tomb Kings showing
True,
off.
true.
So you could see that.
We could basically be halfway through.
But
their
it could be that things didn't line up right. I did feel that I really thought November this year would have been the slot for it, but then when they pushed back
Epic.
Legions, I don't know if that actually changed it. Legions Imperialis. Is it?
That's it. Yeah.
I wonder if that took the slot. I don't know. I mean, literally, I'm just looking at things and thinking maybe.
Ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And if that was the case, then perhaps the plan was perhaps they've sort of ended up changing slightly the way they were going to show stuff off.
Yeah.
Because you could have shown off all that Bretonian stuff when they just showed off the lady from Forge World.
Yeah.
At the
Lady
Adepticon, was it?
whatever her name is.
Adepticon?
Nova.
Again.
Nova. So I think you could have shown all that off at Nova,
Yeah.
and then you could have on Warhammer Day shown off all the Tomb Kings and then dropped a bomb.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. When is Adepticon? Adepticon's like March, isn't it?
Adepticon is in March.
That could be.
Because I might
they
be
do
there.
like doing big. Oh really?
Yeah, I've made mention to a good friend of the channel. A good friend of the channel, Tim Richardson.
Good friend.
Associate. We know him.
Yeah, he is going next year, and dependent on work and other things, I may go with him.
I'm sorry, but your annual leave has been denied.
It's more that I might actually be on another continent with next around the time that it's on. So, but we don't know how work's going to be yet.
Yes, you're going to be in Europe. Here, you're going to be in the studio.
He might be on another continent because we're going to box him up as for a stunt over Christmas and send him to Asia.
a la David Blaine.
Turns out, guys, he isn't David Blaine. Sorry about that, he's dead.
Rest in peace, Oracle. But
so gone and forgotten.
I think harking back to the Kislev stuff, I think you've got to remember that when they showed all that
Did
stuff.
you just say harking back to the Kislev stuff?
Harking.
Oh, harking. I was like, I thought you was trying to use like some Kislevite sounding language then.
No. Harking back to the Kislev stuff, I think it is worth remembering that we saw that article right alongside the release of Total War 3.
Yeah, it was.
So I think there is probably a combination of, they were saying that here's, an army that we could potentially be working on the old world at some point, and it makes a lot of sense to show it off alongside that army being the basically the box art for Total War.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It was one of the main factions, wasn't it?
Yeah, so they were really the poster child for Kislev versus Demons.
Yeah, which I thought was really interesting because I think actually, like when you look at the Total War gameplay, a lot more people logged gameplay on
Cafe.
On Cafe, didn't they? Rather
well, interesting. I won't spend too much time chatting about it because obviously we want to talk about the old world, but they originally Kislev were and the Demon Prince faction in Total War were the sort of recommended factions to play. And then there was so much sort of uproar from the community that actually, for new players, especially Kislev, was a very hard faction.
I did a Kislev campaign and it was
changed
exceptionally challenging.
Yeah, they then changed it to be Cathay, High Elves and Empire for the recommended factions.
I did Cathay run
Immortal
through
Empires.
as my first campaign. And after losing initially because I didn't go into the wrong chaos at the first instance I could have, I then replayed it and had a much better run, and that was from a relative novice of playing those games because I'd never really... I own all of the other ones, but at the time didn't have a computer good enough to use them, so I never really played them.
That would stop you. That would be a hindrance.
Yes. But yeah, so I think there's that. But I think that, you know, the confirmation on the bigger unit sizes in boxes. I know there's been talk.
I love
of people
how far
saying,
we drift,
I know,
and then we
really
come right back.
far back. I know that there's a lot of people saying, oh, well, you know, the price of those boxes is going to be really expensive. And I think you do have to sit there and say that, yes, potentially a 32-man unit box is going to be expensive. But is it going to be more expensive than buying two 16-man boxes or two 10-man boxes? Like, you know.
I think it probably tells us something about unit size there as well.
Yeah.
About their intention for unit size.
Well, I think
another real hot topic that people have talked about quite a lot. This sand, by the way, guys, isn't dry enough to be washed. So we are taking a very delicate tone here, and we're going to get a hairdryer on it in a little while. Probably at the end of Loose Warhammer.
Off camera.
Yeah. Yeah, we're also going to get the cordless hoover up here and hoover up all this snow.
Yeah, and maybe all this sand as well.
Yeah, maybe.
We've really messed up here today, guys.
I'm just straight up blaming the chieftain. These are his models.
Well, I'm playing some Corsairs, so I'm taking no blame in any of this.
Spills blue all over the table.
No! But yeah, so I think that, I think this idea that it's just going to be, you know, little MSU 10-man units, I think if they're selling a box of 32, the intention is clearly for a large unit of archers.
Well, I think the intention's probably for mid-sized units. I've said this all along.
25 to
I actually
35,
think for someone that plays Warhammer generally like I do, and I say generally because I don't do this for every single faction, but I think like in general, I like to take like sort of multiple attacking threats. I like the Mat Army. I think it's really flexible, and I think that, you know, somewhere between 24 and 30, 24 and 28 most of the time is what I would take now. So if that was to suddenly become somewhere between 18 and 30,
What's she sitting there?
anything else, Your Highness?
You can pay this for me if you want. Got a bit of heartburn.
It's a sensitive subject for me today. So I think that kind of, to me, strikes me as the units be about the same size as the units I use now. I think I do think the Horde's going to go.
As a sort of...
As a unit.
As a formation. Like rules for a formation.
Yeah. Just
I
from
can see
things
that.
that they've said.
Well, I mean, we had it in the... It was in the... as I said in my video about formations,
which some people on the internet took real umbrage to.
There was a lot of pressed people on that one.
Bit of Dolores umbrage there, just to go back to an earlier conversation.
They did make mention to the fact that, you know, models in the front rank will be able to give attacks even if they're not in base combat, in contact. So I think that, you know, with that kind of, you know, does that mean that the Horde of fighting in the third rank doesn't exist anymore because everyone in the front rank can attack? I think whilst we might lose the Horde formation in general, I mean, wide units are still going to have value. We're certainly not going to lose wide units. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I agree with you there.
Which will be very interesting because obviously the base size is going up for.
That base is so wet. It's glistening.
They soak, mate. I think base size, with the base sizes going up on 20 mils, that has been definitely confirmed that the 20 mil is no longer going to exist. He says as he's painting Corsairs on 20 mil bases. But I think with with them going, I think you do have to look at it and say that now just like units are going to be a lot bigger in general. From
footprint wise.
Yes, mate.
Cheers, mate.
You can use some.
Footprint wise, you mean they're going to be bigger, not necessarily.
As in like your width is going to be larger. I'm hoping that we see a return to the Games Workshop modular movement tray.
Oh, I'd love for that to come back.
I'd love for them to come back. I recently bought a pack online for £25, which I thought was an absolute bargain because they generally sell for about 30-40 quid a piece. And then I saw someone on a Facebook page selling one and was like, oh, how much is this worth? And some guy commented and was like, that's worth nothing, mate, maybe a £5. And the first comment was, I'll pay £5 for it. I was just sitting there like, fucking gazumped. But I've got a fresh...
You've not been as gazumped as the chieftain was. He paid £60 for 2 sets. £30 each.
Christ.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pricey.
Yes.
But
He also
I think
bought 15 cubic feet of packing.
I've recently heard about this, and
Which me and the Duke have given him much ridicule about.
I've recently heard about this, and I can now join in the ridicule, and I'm glad about that.
Box is almost as big as he is.
But yeah, I mean,
It really is. He had it in his hallway, and you can walk past it. It was well funny.
it was quite funny. But yeah, I mean, the return to modular movement tray would be great.
I've stuck my fingers.
But I do wonder how we'll see it, because obviously the standard modular movement tray used to be a 10 by 10 was
I can't paint in the light.
10 by 10 wide. Was that
10
was
by
only,
10 on the 20 mil.
It was only 20 mil,
8 wide
yeah.
on the
So that's the
25.
thing, is that are we now going to see it return but larger?
I don't think we will.
I don't know. I think they'll probably just bring it back,
I mean,
like
yeah,
everyone used to do.
everyone
You
just uses 25
just
size.
stick it together.
Yeah,
Like
you have to.
if you need to make it big, you just stick it together.
Yeah.
But I bought that pack, and it's been sitting next to my sofa in my little hobby corner for about 6 months now, and I'm just desperately waiting for the game, like because it's still sealed, but I'm not opening it until I know what's going on. But it'd be good to see a return to the movement tray. But I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what they're going to do, because if our Games Workshop going to release, spacer movement trays.
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
You don't think so?
No, I'm really convinced that won't happen.
Okay. That's fair. Well, I think you do have to look at it and go, are they going to release something that stops people from buying more bases?
It's not even that for me.
I think from a pure money sense, it makes sense for them just to go. From a business sense, it makes sense for them to go, well, we're not releasing spacer trays, but we'll release all the bases so you can rebase your models.
Yeah.
I think.
Maybe. I do. I just think that the problem with a spacer tray is they said in one of the articles, like, you'll have a lot more freedom to decide the size and shape of your units, didn't they? And I just think the problem with something like a spacer tray is it does the complete opposite of that. That they used to sell like fixed shape movement trays before, and then they moved to the modular tray because of that very fact. Because
the modular movement tray really was.
So I can't really see. I mean, to do a kit like that, I think would be really challenging as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to agree with you. It's more just a conversation point. I don't believe they will reduce it. As I said, I think it is cheap. It makes more business sense for them to just say, if you want to come to an official Warhammer event, you have to have a rebased army.
Or a spacer tray.
Or a spacer tray. They did say that, but I think it will be, they'll just be like, you've got to make your own spacer tray.
But I've said all
We
along.
all used to make our own skirmish trays. With the old coffee stirrers in the gaps, like.
Classic.
I mean, we definitely used to do it like that.
I've always done it like that. 2 coffee stirrers wide.
My nurgling trays are like that.
Yeah, 2 coffee stirrers wide is the perfect gap for
Lovely.
spacing,
Cut a
Yeah.
coffee stirrer in half and then stick 2 bits. Lovely.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
You can have that back now.
Thank you.
I do think that there is a bit of a sort of question over this idea of spacer trays. I've said it all along. I don't know if I've said it on the channel before, but I've definitely said it to people when I spoke to them in person. I think the issue people are going to have is there's going to be a point in the game where it's really, really close. And they're going to say to themselves, I need to do this shape and formation to win. And their opponent is quite reasonably going to say, well, you can't though, mate, because you're on a spacer tray.
Yeah, so if you reform into that shape, you're not
You're
really the
illegal.
right width.
Yeah,
and-
because your base sizes aren't correct. And then I think that person is going to lose that game of Warhammer. And then I think they're going to sit down and say...
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yes. Then I think they're going to sit...
Oh, that's Baneblade Brown.
And then I think they're going to sit down and say to
I do that
themselves,
for my straps, don't I?
I need to actually have rebased these.
Yeah.
It's a huge disadvantage.
I think as soon as someone loses a game for not rebasing their army, like competitive, if they're playing competitively, if they're playing casually with their friends, why not? But if they're playing competitively,
If
as
it was
soon as
us,
they lose a
mates
game,
at a gaming club or in this studio and we've not got a camera on, and you said to me, I want to whip this wide.
I mean, you're
and
not
I'll
my
just-
friend, so I'd definitely be saying no. But
I want to flip to this width because
We're not friends.
it's going to block you off and it's going to sort of stop me losing. I would say, of course, you know what I mean?
yeah, but I think
because it's casual. But I'm not going to lie. If someone did it to me at an event, I'd say, look, I'm really sorry, buddy, but you're on the wrong size base for that. You can't reform into that shape. That was the choice of using a spacer tray.
Not on your Nelly.
You know, because, and I know that there's going to be people that say that's really not like gaming in the spirit of the game, and I say this, and know me, I'd probably let them do it. But,
I wouldn't.
But
no remorse from the Oracle.
no care there. But
Battle stance intensifies.
but there is gonna be someone that says no.
Yeah.
Probably the Oracle.
Well, the thing is that you do have to look at it and go, if you are game 5 of an event, you've won 4 games, you're about to win a game, and this guy goes, or you know, this person says, oh, you know, I'm alright just to do this, mate. Yeah, that's alright, innit? But well, you know, with all due respect, if this game
How
is gonna,
Essex British we are.
if this game is going to win me my 5th game, then no, you're not doing that, mate. I'm sorry. You know, go and get a judge.
Yeah, because like you're changing.
If it's that
not
big a deal
just
for you, but I'm not letting you do it. No.
Not just sort of the outline of your unit. You're changing the size that it takes up on the table as well. You know, because it could mean that actually, if you go that wide, 3 wide, for instance, on 20mm bases, you can fit through a gap that you couldn't if you were 3 wide on a 25mm base.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to go to an event I'm not allowed to go to an event with a skull crusher on a chariot base. You know, I'm not allowed to do that. Or if someone says to me,
I mean, someone might let you, but I think the wider issue here is that it's the other way around. It's the smaller base issue.
Yeah, which
is where the advantage is. And I think,
it does become almost semi, you know, like gaming for advantage.
It's usually gaming for advantage because you're wide. You can be wider to get the additional attacks we've already discussed, without being as unmanoeuvrable, because you're not actually overall as wide as you should be.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that it is something that will be a hot issue for people when the game drops.
Yeah, I think there's going to be those first few events at like Warhammer World and stuff when people use their spacer trays and it gets to a competitive point. You know, because not everyone plays competitive. You know, and there will be guys that are like, yeah, go for it, mate. That's fine. You know, and they will be fun, and then,
of course there'll be casuals.
You know, but you do.
And that's good. The game needs those people. It does.
The game should be for everybody, casual or competitive.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine. But yeah, I think you do have to accept that if you are going to a competitive
if you're
event,
going to play,
there's going to be. It's not just me. You know, there's people that are.
It's such low grade, isn't it?
If you can believe it, there's people that are a lot worse than me. Right?
I can't believe it.
If you can believe it,
I can't.
But like, you know, you do have to look at it and go like, if you're going to, I've always said it with like things like the Triple Crown and stuff like that. If you're going to a competitive event, you have to expect people to play competitively.
Did you see how I was really good and didn't name anyone that could be considered to be more competitive than John?
There absolutely is people that are more competitive than me. But if you're going to a competitive event, you have to expect people to be competitive.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take long for people, you know, enough people to come up against that scenario for you to suddenly not really see spacer trays at all at competitive events. I think probably 2-3 events, and that will probably be enough.
I also think, like, if you gave me a spacer tray, if you put me down against someone with a spacer tray, and I've only got one, I would be looking and thinking, can I railroad them? Can I chore them? Can I, you know? If I get a couple of sides here, I can just prevent them from moving. I can prevent them from doing what they want to do.
Square.
Because they can't reform unless they're absolutely
square. They're like a 5x5.
Do you know what I mean? Because they can't change shape. There is definitely, and I'm just thinking about this off the top of my head now. I've not really thought about actually employing it on the gaming table, which tells me if I actually thought about employing it, I know I could find ways of making that difficult, particularly if the reform rules stay about the same.
Yeah, of course, that's another thing.
We don't know how pivoting's going to work. We don't know if virtual pivoting's going to be a thing. Hotly contested rule in 8th edition.
Yes.
Very hotly contested, the virtual pivot. I am vehemently against it. I hate it as an idea because I think that it is a competitively good rule to be able to railroad things like steam, like particularly things that are very difficult to kill, like hell pits or steam tanks.
Yeah.
You can railroad
For me, I think that the issue is random move is exceptionally powerful.
Yeah.
It's a very, very competitive
because
rule.
it's the only rule that allows me to turn on a dime and charge something that I can't see.
Yeah,
so I think there should be a counter. It's very much, we got asked the other day, would Slug Tongue work against the Botwood unit, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I was straight in the camp of yes. It's got to. He's like, yeah, but it can hurt magical creatures. I'm like, yeah, but is it not good enough for you? Do you know what I mean? Like,
is the Botwood not good enough?
Is it not good enough? Yeah. Like, I'm like, look, I'm sorry, but we have to apply a little bit of that sense and logic and reason too, and say things are strong here. This maybe needs to not be.
And a bit of sort of logic in the sense of what the rule is doing. The rule is about, you know, making your army sort of succumb to the effects of famine. Well,
that's it.
A banner that
not,
protects you against magic isn't going to help.
Yeah, it's not actually.
Unless it's a magical famine.
It's not a magical attack. It's that he basically is just like, you know.
I'm not sure how he makes the ghost
stinks.
hungry. Though.
No.
He basically stinks, mate. That's the bottom line. He basically stinks so bad that it makes you vomit. So it's arguably doubly bad against ghosts because they just throw up their insides. So, that's why I killed the ghost.
Is that what it does?
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you.
Well, there we are. So I'm just going to erase it and move on.
Yeah, we don't know how movement is going to fully work going forward, and I think that is worth bearing in mind. But I think we don't know what things are going to be like.
No, but all we've got to base it on at the moment is obviously how it is in 8th, and I think James made a very good point of if the rules are similar, movement rules are similar to how they are in 8th.
They've got to be to a decent extent,
yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, they are the sort of movement rules that govern all of these types of rank and flank type games, you know.
Yeah, and then if they are sort of similar enough, and like you say, they're going to very likely be fairly similar, you are going to run into those problems, and it is just going to happen. And like I say, I don't think it'll be more than 2 or 3 events. Probably, if it comes out Q1 next year, probably by the end of next year, I think people will have largely stopped using spacer trays. I think you'll still get people using individual base spacers because obviously they're a lot more flexible. You can go in any formation you want.
Yeah, I don't think they'll lose their popularity ever. To be honest.
I think you do also have to look at it and go that, you know, I think almost everybody that is returning to the old world or like a fantasy setting is probably going to buy a new army of some sort. So slowly but surely, all those new armies will come with a new base size.
Yeah.
So slowly but surely, they'll start playing and they'll go, oh, actually, you know, it's actually they'll play with, like, let's say Bretonians, and they'll go, oh, well, actually, no, these bases are actually a lot better for X and Y and Z. Maybe I should rebase that other army.
Yeah, maybe I should rebase my Empire or my
so I think you will see stuff like that, and as the game moves forward, people buy new armies. You'll see less and less of those spacer trays anyway, you know, because you're going to get a lot of returning people. A lot of people sold stuff when 8th edition was
end times.
You know, when the end times happened, a lot of people sold off their armies. There's never a better time to buy things than eBay at the start of AOS.
Other online auction sites were available and still are.
And still are. And, you know, so I think that as the game moves on, people will buy more new armies. So you see new rebase stuff, as we've discussed just now with the competitiveness of it. People will want to rebase their armies because but you know, so I think you will see less and less, as you said. You still get the people that come just want to have a fun time at an event. They don't care if they win or lose. They'll take space trays and, you know, they'll have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think as the game moves on, just from people buying new armies and stuff, I think you will see less and less.
Yeah.
You know, most people don't have 6 or 7 armies, and it's a real pain to rebase, you know.
Yeah, I've got 9 and only like 2 of them are on the supported list, and I'm really upset.
I have no, other than my just recently started Warriors of Chaos, I have no armies on the supported list, mate. It's a big sad.
Oh boy, so I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, you've got like 9 and like 8 of them are on the list. It's ridiculous.
7, I believe.
Oh, sorry.
What
are the 2 you haven't got? Bretonians and...
On the supported list?
Yeah.
I haven't got
Beastmen.
Bretonians and Beastmen.
Yeah.
Are Beastmen supported?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, literally my only supported ones are Empire and Bretonians.
Yeah, I've just got Warriors.
Oh, sorry, 3. I've got Dwarves.
You need to get supported, mate.
9 armies, man. 9 armies.
Yeah, I've got a couple on the non-supported list. Demons.
I've got Demons, Skaven, Lizardmen,
Vampire counts. I mean, come on, that was a blow for me.
Yeah,
it's a blow for everyone, mate.
So my love of the VCs is well documented, and that's a painful one for me. So I might try and soldier on with them a bit and see how they go on. But
yeah, I mean, we say this like we can't play them. You know, there are going to be rules to play them, and we evidently will use those rules to play them.
There absolutely will be.
It's just a shame that we're not going to get any new models for them, at least for the foreseeable future.
I do agree with that statement here,
which is a shame.
Big shame.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of public outcry recently and I don't know. I've not read anywhere that they're not going to do this. I've seen a lot of public outcry for translating the old world to Spanish.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
It's all over Twitter. It's all over Instagram. It's all over Facebook, and I'm like, I've never seen them say anywhere that it won't be in Spanish.
I think the thing was when that new Old World website came about, which I'll be honest is just a link that links you back to Warhammer Community to a page with all of the old world
articles. As it stands right now, it's basically just a repository.
There's a link from Warhammer Community that takes you to that website. There's a link on that website that takes you back to a different page in Warhammer Community. But anyway, you can translate that page into like 4 different languages, and Spanish isn't one of them.
Oh,
it's
maybe.
like English,
okay.
French, German, and there's another one which I can't remember.
It does feel a little weird that the website wouldn't do that, because that's a very basic capability to be able to translate things.
And fantasy is quite big in Spain.
Never forget Il de Sang, mate. Il de Sang. The Spanish side on the blood. Il de Sang was my favourite.
Il de Sang.
So I think it definitely will. I can't imagine they wouldn't. Like,
No.
If they're going to sell it in Spain, they'll translate it to Spanish.
You would have thought so.
Yeah.
You would have thought so.
I think it would be silly of them not to. But I don't really know. I can't be certain on that one. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people online talking about the.
Yeah, there was a lot of outcry after the last after Warhammer Days announcements that seemed to sort of all pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But on a slightly different note, I am going to an event in a couple of weeks from now. From when this comes out, it will be a week, maybe still 2 weeks, maybe it's 3 weeks from now. And up in I always forget where it is. Knaresborough, I think. It's near Leeds. It's up north somewhere. It's a one-day event run by Bunker Gaming. It's their first event, which I'm looking forward to it. No real sort of what's the word? What's the style of our comp? I always forget what it's called.
Ladder.
Yes, that one. It's not real sort of ladder comp as such. It's just you can't take more than 2 of anything. What was the other bits? Oh, and it's generally got to be sort of not, a really hardcore list. So they'll sort of review your list as you send it in. If they think it's too hardcore, they'll ask you to make it softer. Generally, can't be harder than a -2 on our comp.
So relatively hard comp then.
Yeah, relatively restrictive, but not specifically restrictive in that sense.
You can take what you like as long as you can make it work.
Yeah, I do know someone who's taken 17 Doomfire Warlocks. So, there is that.
That has gone through, so that's interesting.
Yes. But I'm going there, so it's 3 out of the box missions. It's Battle for the Path, Dawn Attack and Battle Line. I've gone with my vampires, the list is submitted and everything, and I've been trying them out. Now, I've only played 2 games, I think, with the list specifically. It's similar to the list I took two and a bit years ago, to North Remembers, yeah. So I've got
that long ago?
Yeah, April 21.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I looked it up.
Oh, a year and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, because, yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's mathematics.
Like, I was going to say, because I've got the big sword, and I was like, well, I've had that since I moved into my house.
Yeah, you need to bring the big sword.
Bring the big sword
to the studio.
I do, I can. Sitting on my bed at the minute to slay any intruders that come into my house in the middle of the night. Yeah! Hits them with blunt big sword.
They look at you.
Yes.
So,
it would hurt, to be fair.
It would hurt. It would hurt. Very big.
That's where we're at. It would hurt.
But yeah,
Don't mind me, I'm just going to rustle for some
Yeah, thanks, I'll talk louder. So the list is, as I say, similar to the North Remembers one. It's got 20 Hex Wraiths, it's got Manfred on a Hellsteed, Natch, a couple of Necros, big unit of Skellies, a couple of units of Zombies, a couple of units of Dogs, a couple of units of Bat Swarms, some Fell Bats, which I hadn't used before, and 2 Vargulfs in the rare.
Victor and Vernon.
Victor and Vernon.
Legends.
I had middling
Warhammer
success in my first game.
The game.
Against Vampire Counts as well, actually. It was a very different list. Strigoi, 4 Banshees.
That is different.
In a big unit of Crypt Ghouls, sorry. What else was there? A couple of units of Vargeist, some Vargulfs, some Crypt Horrors. I think that was about it. There was some other bits in core, some chaff. Won that just, but I did lose Manfred on the last turn to some Banshee Screams, which was very upsetting. Considering they only had 2 and I was leadership 10, I was very upset. And then played it 2 days ago from when we're filming this, be about a week and 2 days ago from when this comes out, against Wood Elves. Now, not a traditional Wood Elf list. It was Durthu, 2 Tree Men, level 4 on Heavens, BSB, 39 True Flight Glade Guard,
Still plenty of magical attacks, but
Wild Riders and Shrieking with the other bits in the list.
Oh,
And a couple of
okay.
Eagles.
That is a very
still plenty of
unconventional
magical
list.
attacks though.
Yeah, now I looked at it and I was like, well, all the tree stuff, yes, it's got magical attacks, but it's flammable, so that helps me out.
Yeah, it does.
It's also pretty rubbish initiative, so that helps me out because I know I've got Purple Sun. However,
That's a week.
rude. However, that unit of 40 True Flight shots, upsetting.
Very.
Considering, level 4 on Heavens, he's got Harmonic, which is very good on the unit
The
of
only
True Flights.
positive for you though is it's only going to delete one thing a turn.
Yes, yeah,
But
absolutely.
delete it will.
But then, so I looked at it
That
and
one thing's Manfred.
yeah, that was the issue, right?
Rest in peace.
So I looked at it and was like, well, I could either... Originally my thought was, and actually I wanted to get the Loremaster's thoughts on this because he's very good with vampires, and I'm loath to admit.
Very kind of you to say. Thank you. You have my interest. Please continue the story.
My first instinct was to set up basically all of my fast threats directly opposite the Glade Guard. And
Yep.
just move everything up as fast as I can,
Yep.
get it in your face. Then I thought, yes, but he's got 5-6 units with magical attacks that can just countercharge me. The tree men, I'm just not going to kill in combat. Even with a Hex Wraith, she'll kill me too quick. Especially Durthu, yeah, it's got like 7 attacks.
Is Durthu's general?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
As a question, can Durthu still do the old arrow shot against your general?
No, he hasn't got the royal. Glade Captains do though.
Thought so.
So his BSB could
Do
have.
it instead.
Oh, okay.
He's had to win, no, it's only strength 3. So I was like, he's got a lot that can countercharge me. So I decided to sort of try and use a building as a bit of both cover from the True Flights if I could hide my unit entirely, and to stop him charging me knowing my Hex Wraiths could run through it. Manfred and the bats and everything could jump over it.
Yeah.
It didn't go well at all, I'll be honest. I had one sort of slim shot where I managed to charge 2 bat swarms into the flank of the Glade Guard unit.
That's nice.
So he was only getting, obviously the BSB made way, so he was getting his BSB 2 Glade Guard and the Wizard attacking me. And I was like, realistically, I've only got to win by 1. Because, well, I've not got to worry if I only win by a little bit if I can make him fail the test because he's not steadfast, because he's in the wood. So I know he's not going to be steadfast.
Yep.
So I've just got to get a bit lucky if I can get some spells off, blah, blah, blah. Didn't, lost the combat by 2, very upsetting. Did hold him in place though, so it was 1 round of shooting that they didn't get. So
Yeah,
not
that's
the end of the world. But yeah, I just
Sometimes
wanted to...
that's enough though. one
Yeah,
round
I just wanted to know your thoughts on what you would have done. Would you have gone sort of opposite it, thrown everything at it?
Without seeing the table, it's difficult, isn't it? But I think my gut instinct would always be that list has got bats, and dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I would have done is probably gone quite hard opposite the Glade Guard.
Okay.
Been like, you're going to delete 1 unit Hex Wraiths, can't stop that 'cause it's True Flight. So I'm not too concerned about the cover, but what I am going to use all my bats and stuff for, and my dogs, is to stop your charges getting my Hex Wraiths.
Yeah.
And then I would have charged my Hex Wraiths into the Glade Guard.
Charge the unit he doesn't shoot.
And
Yeah.
been like, I'm Terror Calls in, take a Terror Test, and then my spell that turn would have been
Doom and
everything
Darkness.
in my mind is
Yeah.
Doom and Darkness. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'll Doom and Darkness them and see if I can just get them on the Terror Bomb.
Yeah.
And if I
Yeah.
can't, I'll get in, I'll definitely win the combat, and if they're still Doom and Darkness, which they should be, they'll almost certainly run.
Yeah.
Because they can't be steadfast. I'll kick them in.
Steadfast
they can't hurt me.
5 is,
And
Well,
I'll charge.
they'll be less than that, I'd have thought.
I've charged, I've got a rank, so I'm unit 10.
Yeah.
And
See what I mean?
then I've got 5 strength 3 attacks, 10 strength 5 attacks.
Yeah.
All hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s or 4s.
Yeah, and you're probably going to get 2 spells off him, Manfred, because they're all quite low
Probably.
cast values, so you only need to roll kind of 2 dice at most of them. So if you could get one of the rerolls off,
little hellish figure.
yeah, a little Van Hals, you're really in. That's
Yeah.
probably what I would have done. That's
Okay.
my gut instinct. Is what I would have done.
Yeah.
But that's a hard game. That's a hard matchup, and you
Yeah.
can do it all right and still lose.
Yeah, so as I say, I went the other way. He went first. So he shot and killed some dire wolves that I'd vanguarded up to
Him
charge.
going first is a bit of a pain.
Yeah, to charge the flank of the archers. Because I've sort of same idea as with the bats really, but I've got more attacks. I've got higher strength attacks. I've got a rank if you don't, if you're really unlucky and wins to me, etc. But obviously that didn't come off. Because he shot them off,
Natch.
obviously. But then I charged the flank of his Wild Riders with my other unit of dogs. Now these were 6 Wild Riders.
That's
I
a
think it
bold
was.
call.
I think it's
Yeah.
a good shout.
They were literally touching the board edge. So I was like, if I win the combat and they break, they're dead.
Yeah.
Plus you never want riders on the charge.
No, and I was
You
like,
can hit him in the flank, it's one blow punch.
yeah, and I was like, worst case scenario.
He's still an
just hold
absolute
them there.
machine against dogs.
Yeah, but I was like, worst case scenario, I just hold them.
No,
there. I've
yeah.
not got to worry about fleeing.
Then do
You're
they
probably
turn
not going to do
around?
enough to
And if
crumble
you
me.
win, you've cost them their frenzy, which is
exactly. As it turned out, I went in. He killed 2 dogs, I think, with the rider, his champion, and his horse. So I was like, yeah, not bad. I'll take that.
That's decent. For
Yeah,
him.
it's probably about average. I then did 7 attacks because I had a champ, Natch. Doom
You like
baby.
the Crufts of the Crufts winner, the champion dog.
Crufts most ferocious.
Yeah,
2043 Imperial calendar.
No, I went in 7 attacks and ended up doing 2 wounds, and he passed both the saves. And I was like,
oh,
right.
that's devastating.
So I then lose the combat.
6 up. That's really upsetting.
Yeah, it really was. So I lose the combat. Like I said, I don't run. Or I don't sort of crumble out. I'm down to, I think, 3 or 4 dogs. He does turn around, and I'm not
massive.
in his frenzy. And I'm like, now I'm sort of stuck there.
But the turning round means that he can't. It doesn't just kill you in his turn and then charge something else.
Doesn't kill you in your turn.
Oh no, of course,
No, it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
in my turn, which is
Yeah,
worse.
yeah. That's
So yeah, which he obviously ended up doing, killing me in my turn. And yeah, it was just really upsetting, couldn't really capitalise on it. Sort of got myself back from there, cheeky spirit leech on Durthu, took 3 wounds, which I was very happy with.
Spicy.
Yeah. And got into this place, I was like, okay, I can sort of make this work. I've got these Treekin, killed a Vargulf, and overran into the second.
They're actually really difficult for something like a Vargulf.
They are. So then in my turn, countercharge
Yeah,
into
you
the
had 2
flank.
Vargulfs.
I did have 2 Vargulfs.
I've got to be honest, they would have been in that middle run for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would have had. I would have probably put 1 unit of Wraiths and 2 Vargulfs.
Just in the middle.
That would have been my go at the Glade Guard, because then he's going, 1 Vargulf will wreck that entire unit on his own. He'll wipe that unit out. He's still going to struggle though. You got 4 up regen. But with 2 Vargulfs, I reckon you've got him.
Yeah.
And the poison would help, I suppose. Yeah, but yeah, maybe the Vargulfs. I forgot you had them. Yeah, I definitely would have. No, I think I probably would have just stuck with what I said originally.
Just everything.
2. I probably just would have put it all over there and been like, I'm just going to declare 6 charges and one of them will
might
make it.
get.
I'm going to make you take 4 terror checks though.
You only take terror checks once. It's a panic check. If you pass it in one phase, you don't have to take it for the rest of the phase.
Is it considered a panic check?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I checked this in the rulebook. Because I was asked the question.
I've always seen those as
know.
multiples.
No.
Oh, really? It's considered a panic check?
Yeah.
Interesting, didn't know that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, as I say, I got into this position, I had like 40 zombies in the flank of the Treekin, and I was like, you can only put 6 attacks on them. I've got, flank, charge, 3 ranks. I'm probably going to offset the damage you do on them. It's less attacks going into the Vargulf. That makes you, breaks your rank bonus, disrupts you. I was like, that's probably a good call. Won the combat twice. Won it by 1 the first, or 2 the first time, 1 the second. Passed both the tests. I'm like, yeah, it's annoying. He was leadership 10 because of Durthu, but
Yeah.
still upsetting. But that turn that I charged in, so I had that combat going on. I had the Hex Wraith into something, I think. And I had something in. That's what it was. I had the Hex Wraith next to Durthu, who was on 3 wounds, but I only had 3 Hex Wraiths. Not in combat with him, sort of behind him, ready to Van Helsed through him. Natch. And I was like, right, really here, I want a Bubble Soul Blight. Because if I get the Bubble Soul Blight off, I'm much easier to kill the Treekin.
18-inch bubble as well. It's
24.
24.
Oh, it's 24,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
It doubles the range.
Disgusting.
It's one of those. It's the same as that Tomb King one that doubles the range and gets every unit.
So I was like, I want a Bubble Soul Blight because I do that, and then I drop Durthu's toughness, which means I then wound him on 4s when I run through him.
Yes. And then you.
And I've only got 3 to run through him, but I was like, a bit of luck, I could just kill him here.
Oh, he's only got 2 wounds left, doesn't he?
3 wounds. So I needed 2 to wound.
Yeah.
Effectively, yeah, because he's flammable. So I was like, get that off. I got like got a 11 dice magic phase. I was like, ooh, very good.
Beautiful.
Very happy. Went for, what was it? It must have been a Spirit Leech, maybe? Yeah, I think it was a
Something
Spirit Leech.
innocuous toe power.
No, 3 dice, 2, 2, 1. Fast cast.
Arguably worse.
Right, okay then.
Which that arguably works, I suppose, because at least if he doesn't die to the miscast, he probably still cast.
Yeah, I can probably still cast spells. But no, I was
Plus,
like, oh,
also
well,
you actually get to, like, hurt them.
there goes that.
That's always
I was like,
frustrating.
and then another one, I was like, oh, well, I'll curse the ears. I was like, got into another position, yeah, I want to do this magic phase, double 1. Okay, well, I can reroll one of them, 2 and a 1.
I mean, it's better, but it's still not good, is it?
Yeah. Right, okay.
It's not great.
Yeah, it just really did not go
Did
for
not
me.
land, yeah.
No, which was quite upsetting. But yeah, I just wanted sort of your thoughts. So maybe if I do come up against that style of list, I just go, I'm either going to lose this game turn 2, or I'm going to probably win it turn 2.
I think that when I see those matchups with my Bamps, I opt for what I call the John Lammin approach, which is don't worry about what they're going to get off me. I just worry about what I might get off them.
Which actually
is
works,
super aggressive.
It actually works really well for this event because it's also, one thing I forgot to mention, it's scored in a slightly different way. So it's not sort of 20-0 or just win, loss, draw or anything like that. It's just scored on the victory points you get off of your opponents. You don't sort of take off what you lose.
Yeah, which then makes me think...
Just sort of go for that super aggressive.
Is there any win, loss, draw criteria then?
No. So the
Straight up, whoever gets the most VPs.
Yeah, it's basically bloodiest general wins.
Right, so I mean, for me, the only answer there is just, yeah. Charge!
Yeah.
My whole army charges.
Yeah.
What? You need 10s. My whole army charges.
I mean, it's got to be...
I might as well.
It's got to be 1,000 points in that unit, easy.
Oh, easy.
He's got 39 archers, which there were 630 points for the archers, I think.
Yeah.
He's got a level 4 with the channeling staff, because that's all he could fit, because Dirthu's a lot of points. And a BSB.
He's a pointy boy.
So it's got to be
Yeah,
1,000 points.
Yep.
Because the level 4 is 300.
Yeah. I'm just
Yeah, over 1,000. Yeah, maybe I should have done
looking
that.
at where my highlights are on that one, so I can copy it.
Yeah, maybe I should have gone with
I think that's probably what I would have done. But
just vanguarded really aggressively out of sort of easy charge ranges from the Treekin.
When we did
tree stuff.
London Legends, I played Wood Elves game 2,
Mm.
and it was tough army for me.
Yeah.
Because he had, I want to say 20 Way Watchers,
Mhm.
and a lot of all his core was basically bound up in fast cav units with magic arrows.
Yeah.
Which obviously is tough for me.
Yeah.
Plenty of scouts, wild riders, 2 units, tough.
Mm.
But and he had a bunker very similar to the one that I run.
Yeah.
With the wizards and all the kind of
Yeah.
characters in it.
With the sisters.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just went hell for leather. Turn 2, I was declaring charges with Terror Blast onto the bunker.
Mm.
Take terror check. See what happens.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he elected to flee. Like, he chose to flee.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I thought, good tactic, but...
There's a chance he doesn't rally. There's a chance he doesn't roll very far and you catch him.
He rolled quite a good distance, but he was 21.5 inches away from a bat swarm and about 4 inches from the board edge. And I said, I'm charging that bat swarm. I need double 6, but you've got to flee.
Yeah.
And that caught him, and that's what did it for me. That
Yeah.
got me 1,000 points. But again, it's that if I had not been that aggressive, I could not have got
Yeah.
those points.
Yeah.
So, and actually, what's he going to do if I'm not aggressive? I'm playing it on his terms, because they quite like to slow the pace down, Wood Elves. They quite like to pick you up and to, you know, the more time you give them,
Yeah.
the better they are.
Yeah.
I always find. I certainly find that when I play with my Wood Elves.
Mm.
So I just thought, well, we can't give them any time. We just got
That's very
to
true.
apply the pressure, and hopefully they'll get something not quite right, or something will come up nice. And as
Yeah.
it was in that game, it was the flea.
Mm.
I got an opportunity to get him off from the flea.
Yeah. Yeah. No fair.
So
I also lost Manfred in the end on the last turn, I think it was. He'd been shot by Uranan's Thunderbolt.
that's tough.
That took 3 wounds off of him. And I hadn't got any vampire spells off. Oh no, I got 1 vampire spell off since then, so I'd gone up to 3 wounds. He'd been shot with that Glade Guard unit, but he was within 3 of the Hex Wraith, so he looked absurd.
Spicy.
9 of the 18 hits, it was bang on average.
Wow. Classic.
Yeah, look outside them, and then took no wounds himself, Natch, because they were on 6s. And
The Hex Wraiths are obliterated.
yeah, like 8 Hex Wraiths died, 7 Hex Wraiths died. That's why I had 3 left. And then Dirthu turned around and shot him with his Lamentation of Despair, which just got Killing Blow and got 1/6 and killed him.
Oh,
2d6 shots.
that is a
11
lamentation.
shots.
Oh!
It's strength 2. It's like, I need 6s, but a 6 would kill you.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, that's
and
it.
did.
He's only looking for the killing blow, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'd be looking for.
Absolutely. He'd lined everything up. He'd lined his True Flight unit up again. He'd lined another Tree Man up shooting. I was like, just shoot Durfee first. You're going to get the 6 mate. You're going to get 2 shots, 1 hit, 1 6.
So you were petty about it and was like, you're going to lose all that shooting now because you've just nothing to kill.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. Immediately.
And my Hexwraith survived the crumble. And, arguably better than everything, I've got Forbidden Rod on one of my Necromancers, and he only took 1 wound. And I've got 6 dispel dice.
6 power dice.
6.
Yeah. Sorry, not the Forbidden Rod, the other one that gives you dispel dice. Staff of Sorcery, is it? Can't remember.
No, you're
Or is
thinking
it
of
Forbidden Rod?
what, Sceptre of Stability.
That's the one.
It adds D6 to a dispel attempt. It doesn't.
No, it's not that one. There's one that... no, it's Forbidden Rod that gives you...
That's power dice.
Maybe it was power dice, something like that. But yeah, he took 1 wound and got 6
Forbidden Rod on
dice.
skink
It's
is
hilarious.
always great. Just blow some skink up when he's on 1 wound.
Forbidden Rod
Dice.
on an elf wizard in
Oh,
the
here we
Botwood
go.
unit
Yeah.
is the ultimate use of Forbidden Rod. Nothing will trump that as a use of Forbidden Rod. Like, I don't
You
like
get
to
2
like
up
it.
wall save against the Forbidden Rod. It's
Yeah.
stupid, mate.
But that
You
is...
don't like it, but you will use it.
yeah. Do you know what? Can you think of a game I've used it?
Yeah, I know you've used it, for sure.
Yeah, mate.
Like, once or twice ever.
Yeah, I don't think you've taken it to an event, to be fair to you.
No.
Well, it's because you often don't have a supporting wizard.
No.
In the unit.
Yeah.
Those are all
With,
points I could
with
spend
your
on
other
one
wizard,
stuff
that's the
spell.
thing.
I think with high elves you're better to take minimal
You've got
characters.
to have
personally.
2 wizards in 1 unit, which you don't really often have.
High elf generals screaming at me all over the country. Maybe that.
All over the world.
But so something that I will just take a moment to address, which is a slight segue back to an earlier conversation that we were having, is I put out the video after the Warhammer Day release, and I talked about events this coming year, and I thought I was quite clear, but
I think you're the only person that thought you were quite clear.
I said we'd run 3 Warhammer events this year. That's what I said.
I think that the
3 Warhammer fantasy-based events is what I said. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Warhammer The Old World is a fantasy-based game,
different game.
with Warhammer in the title.
Different game.
Right? And Warhammer Fantasy Battles, yes, is that. But clearly there's been some confusion. We're going to run 3 events next year. They may be all Old World.
Yeah.
They may be a mixture of Old World and 8th. I don't know yet.
At the moment, we just know. We do not know.
But that's just so everyone is absolutely dead clear with what I was saying.
Those really are the 2 options. It will either all be Old World, or it will be a mix. So, some events will be Old World, some events will be 8th edition.
Yeah.
They are the 2 possibilities. Not what a lot of you understood James to be saying as there are going to be 3 8th edition events next year.
Yeah, not that.
Not
sorry. So yeah, but, I'm not sure how we got there, but I thought I was quite clear. Everyone else seems to think I was unclear. Obviously, I'm correct. So
Obviously.
What a guy.
yeah, sorry for any confusion that I may have caused, guys. So
I've just realised Max has got me to base more models than I need for this battle report, so he has fully
do
just
you want
got
me
me
to
to
tell you the
base his
exact
army.
words he said when he dropped them in the car this morning? I said, I didn't know Scott was going to use some flamers for the battle report, and he said he's not. But if he's going to base some stuff, he can do these as well.
Look like a single, mate. He's done you like it.
So I just thought I'd let that fly because I thought it was quite
He's
fun.
also put 3 extra screamers in the box. So I've based 3 extra screamers.
He's absolutely had you there.
Yeah.
Look, me and Max work together.
Unbelievable.
And there is a rule that if you go to an establishment for lunch and you get a takeaway meal of some sort, if you buy a bag and someone else doesn't buy a bag, if you want to put your lunch that you've just bought in that person's bag, the tax is that that person then has to carry the bag. So if I buy lunch and buy a bag, and let's say Max just gets his lunch, if he wants to put his lunch in my bag, he has to carry the bag.
Is this establishment, is it Pret?
It's not Pret.
Oh,
it is actually Tesco's, otherwise known as Tezza's.
Thanks
Thanks for the clarification.
Other supermarkets are available.
And
Well,
yeah, so
that's,
now what I've seen recently is now Max doesn't will physically out of spite just carry his own meal deal back to the office because quote he doesn't want to pay the tax. The tax being the bag
Carrying the bag.
I feel like that is the saddest thing. Like that was his line. His red line was carrying a carrier bag with a couple of sandwiches in it.
I would be petty, but just buy my own carrier bag.
There was a stint where I
Why doesn't that surprise me about you?
There was a stint where I emptied my drawer and I'd
just in case
plastic bags.
Just whilst we're here, I think people are realising that I generally store paint in lots of different carrier bags because that's what's happened.
Some of us use nice
I used to have a nice little
storage
box for it all,
boxes,
and now it's just carrier bags. So and people have now seen beyond the veil once more.
Mine are spread out. Some are in a cardboard box that's falling apart. Some are in a carrier bag. Some are in boxes with models that I've used those paints on, so I remember when I go back to those models.
That's
and then
a good idea.
And then I want to use that paint for something
I have
else,
a list
so I take
on
it
my
out of
phone.
the box, and then it all goes wrong.
I have a list on my phone for that. Right, well,
how I painted my model.
the body of this is coming along.
Nice. Is that the second one?
It is the second one. It's coming along. I haven't started the propellers because the propellers are much more upsetting. but the body is all the blue is now done. It's
Nice.
all highlighted. It's all shaded.
Nice.
Um,
Just got all the sort of filigree stuff.
yeah, that's not the worst of it.
Is that just gold? I can't really see it on the other.
It is just gold.
Yeah.
Yes. And there may. No, it's just gold really, and a wash.
I'm
But
sure if I've washed
there's quite a lot
the
to do there.
undersuit, but it's getting a wash.
There's still quite. What we're saying is there's still quite a lot to do. I've got a very big problem.
Have you forgotten to paint?
No, the Xantry dust seems to have dried itself up.
Oh. Upsetting.
Which I'm not really sure why, because it's pretty well sealed.
Yeah.
But we need that for a back report we're going to film pretty soon.
Fun.
Positive
Shake,
vibes.
shake.
Positive vibes only. In other better news, this Corsair champion is fast approaching completion.
Mm.
I thought he'd take a lot longer because he's a champion, but he hasn't.
We've got
actually.
serious issues, guys.
No,
It's
it
a
sounds
fully
like
solid-
you've got serious
Yeah,
issues.
it does. It does.
No, it's a we for the channel.
The royal we.
Surely you've got another Xandri dust in that box of many paints, or the bag of many paints.
I knew you were going to say that.
Doja in his Technicolor bag of paint.
Yeah.
Cries in
Other
bags of
stage
paint.
shows are available.
How many Corsairs will that be now? You've got coming?
3. Am I right?
3, 2. I need to put my finger out of these.
So petty from me.
Work has been very busy. I need to put my finger out. But once the command's out of the way, the actual unit won't take very long. I mean, you can see I've almost finished the champion in this video.
Yeah.
So if you're bashing 2 or 3 of them,
Excuse me and my mini bags.
if you're bashing 2 or 3 of them, you could.
Talon Sand is a workable replacement.
It's a completely different colour.
No, it's not that far away.
I mean, it's a lot
Whatever-
darker.
whatever
It's
makes you
darker.
sleep at night.
It's not far enough away that I can't dry brush it over.
Yeah, so I mean,
Please don't judge me.
they'll
Yeah,
go
once you're
quick.
batching them,
They'll go quick
they'll
once
go
they're done.
quick.
Obviously, the basing of
Carrot
Dark
Stone's
Elves
better
is
replacement.
one of my worst basing that I do. Is just straight up
Just
snow. So
I've very confidently thrown that stuff back in that bag without checking that this is actually usable.
Not
as
dried
well.
up, yeah.
yeah.
Oh. Is it dried up?
Oh no.
Is it solid?
Oh my
No,
god,
it's not good.
me.
It's good enough. It's a dry brush, guys.
It's turned itself into a dry paint.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I remember Game Workshop texted Dry.
Yeah.
They still sell those.
I
Yeah.
don't even think they did. I thought Dry was gone.
No, I'm pretty sure it's just
Yeah, so the Corsairs will paint up quickly as
Mm.
and when I want to do them. I don't know what the my hobby progress.
I
is
mean,
gonna be.
this
I mean,
is-
I now
this is
start
the other
making
big
hobby
thing.
pledges. Now I'm part of the channel.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Do you guys? Are you still going to do that next year?
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
we do that normally around Christmas time.
We
don't
do.
I don't
Yeah.
even want to look back. On
Max's
what I
pledge
paid
is
last
normally to buy less armies than he's bought this year. That's normally his pledge. I think he's failed this year.
time. What's he bought this year? High Elf army.
Elves. He's bought new armies. That might
No,
be.
Boys, Deep Chaos
It's normally new
Wolves.
armies, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
No,
he
he
had
had
them
before
before.
last year.
I think he's done alright actually.
Yeah, but how many
We'll
did he
see.
buy last year? Because he
2.
got it on a technicality last year.
Got it on a technical.
Yeah,
He,
he was
did,
like,
he waited till New Year to buy
Yeah.
the high elves, and then when it tripped over, he then bought the high elves off me on New Year's Day.
technicality.
What a guy. Love you, Max.
So Right. Well, look, that's good. That's
Workable.
no, it's more than close enough to be honest. Dry brush on there looks more than good.
Was it on his base?
Yeah, it's only on his base. He's going to be on a chariot anyway, so
Yeah.
Famous last words. When the chariot gets killed on turn 1, you'll see him on this base quite a lot.
Yeah.
We all know it's coming.
New model syndrome, mate. Just ask Teto.
Yeah, you could just go down the old, so maybe this is overkill.
He could. That was very funny with Teddy.
For you, mate. It wasn't for me. I desperately needed him that game.
It was, as they say, a great one for the neutral.
Yeah, it was.
Desperately
What was
needed
really
for that
funny
game.
about that was that a friend of ours paused the video and took a screenshot of John's face, and I've never seen such raw despair in a man.
I was gutted, mate. I was so pleased with him. He'd come out. I was like, oh, he looks fantastic.
No one really got to see him.
And then he just went down the hole. I was like, oh. Wonderful.
First spell, and it was like a nothing. You didn't even want it. It was a two dice.
It was a 2 dice ice sharp blizzard. Which at least
On the cannon, wasn't it?
Yeah, on the cannon. At least the next turn he didn't roll the 4+ on the cannon. Taro didn't die for nothing.
What was that against? What's he been using? Dwarves.
Dwarves.
Oh, my
Shark
God,
Dragon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 He won me the game.
He truly did.
He's great like that. Right, well that's good. That's moving along.
Is he done?
We're going to need to give him 5 minutes because we need that base edge to dry so we can put a second coat on it.
Right.
And then when that's done, yeah, we'll put a little bit of yellow.
I was about to say yellow
Grass.
snow for a second. I was like,
Yellow grass on the base.
don't eat it.
A bit of yellow grass, and then he's done. But he's very big for a 20mm base. So you guys will see in the battle report he's made from the Arcan on the dog, as I like to call them.
The Thundercat.
The Thundercat.
Spectral Steed thing.
Yeah,
They're really nice
Abyssal
models,
Horror,
though.
I think they call them, innit?
No, they're
No,
not
I
the
don't
Abyssal
think they
Horrors, because
are.
the Abyssal Horror is a mount.
No, the Abyssal Terror's a mount.
Oh.
And I think he's called... Or Dread Abyssal, that's what he's called.
Yeah, something
He's a
like
Dread
that.
Abyssal.
I know
he's
he's time Darker.
yeah, he's off that
The
one.
Mortark, yeah. He's the Mortark of...
Death.
No, I thought that was Manfred. The
No,
Mortark
Manfred's
of
the
Blood
Mortark
is...
of Night, isn't he?
Oh, he might be deaf then.
Mortark of Blood is Morathite.
He's not.
He's
He's
the
Nephra.
Nephra, sorry. He's the Mortark of Sacrament.
Oh,
Is it?
interesting.
So he's that model,
Mm.
and what I did was took the legs, because actually you can, a little bit of cutting, you can take the way the legs are bent, you can actually, they're quite straight.
Mm.
He's not got a huge bend in them like
Yeah.
you're sitting on a chair like that. They're sort of really quite a good angle. It's hard to see on the camera, but yeah, you're not going to be able to see that at all. But,
No chance.
I'm doing my best. So you can see they're actually quite straight. So I glued them down and then just worked out what angle I'd need to put the top of the body on.
Mm.
I can't remember if there's a little pin in there. I did it about 5 years ago. And then it's just him.
Yeah.
Just cut the reins off the right hand, because his hand's just down there.
He's got a little dagger in his hand, hasn't he?
No, he's got nothing in his hand,
Oh, is
because he has reins in his hand normally.
Oh,
and I thought about putting something
It's not a beard.
in there, but actually when I did it, I just thought I don't really need to put anything in his hand, because
No.
it just looks like he's got it down to sort of his waist whilst he's holding the staff up. It's
Yeah.
not an unnatural.
And if he's on the
Sort of
chariot, he
place
looks
for
like
it.
he's almost holding on to the
Like
chariot.
he's about to lean onto the chariot
Yeah.
arm, and the chariot you've seen me using on the channel before, the one with the big gold fans on the side, which is like my flying chariot basically. It's hard, you might not always be able to see it, but there's no wheels on that bad boy,
Mm.
because it's meant to be flying. So that was actually designed for him, and he's got a big book off the Mortis engine on the front, which is the Book of Nagash.
You had to make the chariot wider, didn't you?
The chariot is actually so it's
Then
it's
it sort
a
of normally
plastic
would be.
chassis, and if you've ever built a plastic Tomb King chassis, if you're looking at them from top down, they kind of glue together like that, with the base of the sort of the bit they stand on. So what that's not very good. That's a better representation because they're more curved. So what I did was just
Bit of
put
plastic
a
art.
spacer in the middle.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a bit of movement tray.
Oh.
Yeah, his movement. So.
And that went in the middle, and then I put the same in the bottom
Mm.
to fill the gap.
Yeah.
And actually, that looks really good. But you can obviously see the difference on the front.
Mm.
So then I took one of they've got these the Tomb King chariot kit. It's old, but it's really, I think it's really held up well actually. I think it's a great kit still. It's got these beautiful kind of half circle kind of dishes that go on the front, which cover up which put a pattern on the front, which is nice because I've seen people online that then like paint like classic Tutankhamun style. They paint like kind of, instead of putting them on, they paint around the body of the chariot like the king charging and stuff like that, which is far beyond what I would do. I think I could if I could really be bothered, but it'd be very cartoony. So what I did was took that and just very delicately stretched it from this really rigid round shape, stretched it to a bit flatter,
sort of fit around it,
glued it on. You can't really see anything then. So then just at the top you've got to work out that there's like a sort of rail that goes around the top of the chariot, but then when I stuck the big book from the Mortis engine on there, because that was my book of Nagash, actually that completely covers that. So when you look at it, you can't tell that it's not meant to be like that. It's quite a good little kit bash, so I didn't have to use any green stuff for it, which is a win.
That is a win.
And then pinned it to a flying stem, which I sprayed black in the end, and that was it. And then it just and there's actually slight extensions on the side of it as well, so I could put those fans on. So when I put the I used a movement tray to make the bottom of the chariot where he stands. I also added some fans to the side movement tray that glue onto the underneath of the existing floor and come out the side.
Oh, come like all the way out.
Yeah, they come out. Okay. So if you like, they almost would be like axles, if you like, but they're obviously wide and flat, and that's what you then, those big fans, the wings off of the Necro Sphinx is what they are. Sawed down, stuck onto those and stuck onto the side of the chariot. Very, very strong because you've got two bonds. And then the weight's being held on like a very long flat bond underneath as well, which is almost like half the width of the chariot again. So I think I put those in such a way that they also bridge the gap in the where you've got like the three bits of floor, if you like, the bit that's slotted in. They're also bridging those. So the whole chassis really of the chariot is quite robust.
Yeah, really strong.
So it all comes together quite nice. And then I put the Tomb King on there, or I put that where he's got like his Book of the Dead or whatever you want it to be, or. If you're a big Mummy fan, I was watching The Mummy, classic, Brendan Fraser legend, the other night, great movie. And thanks, John. And that's quite cool, and I used that for all the campaign when we did with the channel. And that is a
Satep?
Yeah.
Was it Satep?
And again, like that big kind of four-horse chariot, I just think it looks really cool. And I know that like technically it's not quite right unless you're and I've had some people grumble in the past where they're like...
because the base should be 4 cav bases and then go into a normal chariot base.
Well, actually, for a regular king, you can't put 4.
No, not for... But for Arcan, that was technically the basic
Arcan,
width.
it would be that, and the same with Cetra. But again, I just think... I've used those spaces. I've got a big fallen pillar on mine with some stuff on it, really cool. I just think it's... And I've got a skeleton climbing out the ground on the other side of the chariot. So you've got, like, that little... like. The only thing people can complain about is, that it means it could go in the middle of a rank. I never put it there. I just put it on the end.
Yeah.
Like, rule of cool for me there is enough. And if I was gonna take it, sorry, I just thought before taking the Tomb King on the Chariot to a competitive event, funny. If I was gonna take a Tomb King on the Chariot to a competitive event, I probably wouldn't use that one. I've got like a regular chariot, which is really boring with a king on the back of it, which I never use because it's not as cool. But also...
And it doesn't fly.
No. But also, like, if I was going to take Arcan, I don't think anyone would... Like, if I was going to put him on a flying chariot, I'd send a TO a picture and just say, look, it's missing those 2 chunks there. I don't think anyone would moan at that. I really don't.
Because it's literally just worse for you.
You're suffering enough, you're already taking him.
If I get charged in the rear, more guys can attack me.
Well, and like cannons and stone throwers, more likely to hit
me. And I'm not one of them that's going to complain if you hit any part of my base with that stone thrower, even if you hit the skeleton climbing out of the ground 6 feet away from the gas from Arcan, so I'm not gonna complain. So, but I'm really looking forward to people seeing that because it was designed in this originally. It was designed so I could put other stuff on it, which is what I did include a character on. But also it was designed specifically for Arcan. So Arcan actually, the angle I've built him at when I've leaned his body in such a way, it looks almost like he's reading from the book. Like he's leaning forward to cast his spells reading from the book.
It'll be nice to see him for turn 1 on the battle report.
Well, when you shoot him with a skull cannon. Yeah. If I go first, I'm going to do all I'm trying to kill turn 1 is a skull cannon. Just so everyone knows. That's my only interest in
He's Death Wizard, isn't he?
He is.
That's alright, I'll Gleam Magic Purple Sun.
He's a level 5 Death Wizard.
So I'll Gleam Magic Purple Sun.
Does he have 5 spells?
He does have 5 spells.
To cast. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a level 5, he gets 5 for everything.
I cannot wait for you to... to be fair, it won't massively matter because Purple Sun's not amazing against me. But
no. I mean, it's pretty good against Initiative 1 Kairos.
It is, yeah.
So that could be the big bump, really. I'm going to go for the Gleam Magic. Oh, I've got Cause Terror. whatever that's called. Aspects of the Dread Knight.
Dread Knight.
What a shame. Purple Sun! So my chariot flies out of the unit, pulls a handbrake turn, lands,
Rolls the miscast on his own head.
1 inch away.
Scatters onto
1 inch away. So that the scouring miscast hits us both, and I take us down together to the grimy depths.
Scatters into your own army, kills your own chariot. No!
Is Arcan your Hierophant?
Yes.
He has to be, doesn't he?
I wasn't sure how
Yeah.
that worked, so yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, he's your Hierophant, even though he's not the Goran.
Yeah.
Funny.
He's tough. I had to cut his cape down when I took him off the dog as
His
well.
cape's ginormous.
But
Yeah, he's
actually,
big. No, it looks
again,
good.
I don't think it looks
Yeah.
bad. We'll get some proper pictures up for you.
His cape is a lot less solid at the top than Manfred's is.
Yes.
Manfred's is sort of basically
Yeah, it's
normal
really
cape until it gets down to
His
the bottom.
almost looks like a net all the way
Yeah.
down, and actually that's really nice because it makes it really
much
easy
easier
to
cut.
chop and
Yeah.
do some cool stuff with, which I think, you know, is good. I'm actually super chuffed with the way he's come out. I'm really pleased with the paint job now.
Yeah.
So I wanted him to have that real Total War vibe. Where you
Yeah.
get, so I got a big blown up picture of the Total War one, and I think in hindsight I probably should have base coated his armour purple
Yeah.
rather than base coating it dark blue. But I also think like my Tomb Kings are blue and red,
Yeah.
so I thought I do want him to kind of fit with them. So he's got a little purple on him. He's got a couple of purple tassels, bit of purple on the kind of gemstones and the magic stuff to sort of
Is the smoke
suggest
a
a
bit
lot of depth.
purpley coming off of his staff?
Yeah, so it's really really simple. This one dry brushed it 2 types of grey, Dawnstone and then Administratum, a bit lighter. Washed it purple, let it dry brushed it, Administratum again. So you've got like a sort of billowy
Purple
sort
hue.
of purple hue to
Yeah.
the stuff coming off the edge of the space is still slightly wet. But yeah, I think the only criticism I'd have for myself is maybe I could have done purple, but I went for the blue as my gut instinct because I
Yeah.
wanted to kind of stick with the fact there's plenty of blue and red on my army, and I knew
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do any red on him,
Yeah.
so I felt I needed to have something that tied him in. But
Yeah, that's fair. I do really like all those
the
like
Mortarch.
riders off of the Mortarch kits.
They're
Yeah,
lovely.
Manfred's
Yeah, me too.
is lovely, and he looks basically top half of him, apart from his cape, which is a bit different, is exactly the same as the Manfred on Horse model that Games Workshop did for 8th edition. So you can make a good on foot one, or as I've done on Hellsteed one, or even an on Abyssal Terror one
same.
out of the Mortarch kit.
the one I used on the channel was on
Yeah.
the Hellsteed.
Yeah, Neferata makes a lovely just vampire.
Yeah, a little bit of cutting around on the legs. I've got an
her
on foot
floating,
one.
haven't you?
Yeah,
She's
so
sort of floating
she's
on
got
her
a really
cape.
long dress, so I
Yeah.
cut the dress round
Dress.
and twisted the legs. And very similar to what I did with this, where she sits, if you like,
She sits sort of side saddle, doesn't she?
she sits side saddle,
Yeah.
so the legs come down to the side, like that, and then she sits like this.
Yeah.
And what I did was twisted, so I cut it up, cut the dress, so it looks
Yeah.
like she's almost like gliding forward to land, which I think's quite sort of her. So now the legs are in this kind of forward duck shape, and so the body should sit like that. But
then
I
you
just
lift it
rotated
up.
the body back, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I stuck a pin in it again. A little bit of green stuff to just tidy up the dress
Yeah.
where it meets. Job done, really easy. And I've got another one which I want to just take on the big throne, the whole
Yeah.
lot, and put that whole thing on the throne on a horse.
Oh, okay.
So she's got the side saddle. Again, I'll probably have to trim it down a little bit, but side saddle off the horse. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like really ostentatious with a big kind of
Yeah.
throne on the horse. I think that would look really cool. At
That
some
could
point.
look cool on a Coven throne as well, actually.
She'd look amazing on,
On,
the
like,
throne.
on that throne,
Yeah.
on the back of a Coven throne.
Yeah, she'd look great on a Coven throne. I definitely think the new Blood Knight horses sort of
Probably
much
big
bigger.
enough. Yeah.
And I think it possibly, like originally I was going to do it on a cow steed, which is what I did with my Hell
Yeah.
steed because they're much chunkier.
Yeah.
I don't know with the Blood Knight horses, I've got a weird feeling, if I remember rightly, the legs are attached to the horse. So it might be a bit challenging to do. But
Oh, the rider's legs, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's definitely not impossible, and it could just be clipping a bit of green stuff in and put her on that. But you know, perhaps this bigger base size that's coming will make all of that feel and look a bit better for
she
her.
can hang off the edge a bit
She
more.
can hang
and
off the side, yeah, and then she can just go on the end of a unit. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's stuff.
The classic with a big fancy character that doesn't fit, stick them on the end.
Yeah. So there's definitely stuff hobby-wise I'm doing. It was, I mean, Arcan did drive me mad, but I'm quite pleased with the overall finish. So hopefully he'll do something for me. I've used him in 2 games ever.
Did he do good in either of those games?
He did good in both of them,
Ooh.
and I used him on the
Did you do a
flying
bad game
chariot because I was like, I used him on the flying chariot because I just thought, like, that's what I did the conversion
Yeah.
and was like, it's really cool. I just wanted to do a cool Tomb
Yeah.
King thing. I was on a bit of a Tomb King journey at the time. I might use a Apophis in this game as well, because he's like the underworld kind of guy, and there's this sort of Law of Death feel. And obviously he's got a fantastic record for me, so you're right. Arcan's do a bad game, but Apophis does not know what a bad game is.
No, he does
so
not.
when he comes,
Gorgon's Bane.
I can't wait. He kill Chorus in combat, mate. You know it's coming.
Can you imagine?
You heard it here first.
I'm going to thunder stomp him.
No, you're not, because you're dead. I'm gonna nominate Chorus as my man to take the other way.
Does he get like reroll to wound again?
Reroll hits and wounds.
Hits and wounds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
He's got 5 attacks.
So many
Strength
attacks.
4.
so unnecessary.
Rerolls hits and wounds. I've only got to get -1 strength and toughness off. You're in a danger zone, and that's when the Scarab Breath does the last wound. Again, watch the Mummy the other night.
Sake.
That's definitely how he does it. Scarabs fly out. Someone will definitely screenshot me doing that. Scarabs flying out. Love it. So yeah, maybe Apophis will be the one that takes Karos to Pound Town, if you will.
Come on.
So
It's not going to happen. You're going to kill yourself with your own purple soul, and then Apophis is going to crumble.
I'll probably cast a nothing that I'm not that fussed about.
Double
I'll take
6 go down the up.
a speculative spirit leech and go down the up.
Do no wounds with the spirit leech.
What I call doing it tail echo style. If you
None of that. None of that's fun. You leave Teto Echo alone.
Oh, so yeah, lots of excitement in the studio right now. We're in a really positive place. We're really looking forward to seeing what the old world's got to offer.
Yeah.
There's going to be changes. There's almost certainly going to be things we find really tough about it, or things that are so different that we've got to get used to. But
It'll be my first new edition in inverted commas, because Games Director technically said it's a new game, but new edition of fantasy. Because I never played 7th or anything before that. I only played 8th.
I played, I think, maybe one game of 7th, but I was young.
6th, 7th, and 8th. So this is, but
I think Max played 7th as well.
But the
Played a few
excitement
games
I remember from 7th to 8th for me was massive.
Mm.
That was like
in
I
the
was-
run up to 8th.
I was
or
never
once
more
8th came out?
excited than when it was coming out,
When
and
it
then
sort
when
of
it
run up
came
to
out, I'd been involved in a really bad car accident at the time,
Let's
and I
drive.
was, actually it wasn't my fault. I was at a roundabout and someone decided to write my car off, but I'm not
It was
stopping.
me.
I'm not stopping at the roundabout that I was sat at. So I was sitting waiting to go, and someone just went bang.
So close
So
to finishing,
It was
but
it
I
was
need
bad,
to leave him like
and
that so that the
suffice to say,
it
I couldn't
pulls
work
directly on
for
the
some
base.
weeks because of it, and so I was laid up in bed, quite, not in good shape, and I had
Laying on thick.
I had that fantasy rulebook, and it was just great. I read cover to covered it 3 times. I was just like, I'm so up for this.
It affected your memory as well.
And it was a big shift. It was a big change from the previous set of rules, but I liked it a lot. And then obviously the box game come out, and being a high elf collector, that was the only one I had at the time. That box game was those models just blew my mind. I loved them. So
On the Blood was a fantastic box game.
and that really was where
It would sang for our Spanish viewers.
we care about you guys,
Yeah,
Spanish
we do.
viewers. So
We do.
if you can understand us, because we don't speak Spanish, because we are from Essex.
Yes.
We're poorly educated.
I'm not going to attempt to
Live up to the stereotypes.
speak Spanish because I feel like that would be.
Please don't.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Could you speak Spanish?
No.
There's a little bit of hesitation there.
I was going to say.
I did Spanish at school.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
you
did.
can say, yeah, I knew it.
I did do Spanish at school. I was going to take Spanish, and then like a week before the end of the year, I had a really big argument with my Spanish teacher. I'm like, I'm not taking Spanish. She was like, no,
She went,
please.
great, I don't have to teach you.
No, she was like, oh, no, please, you're really good, you'll do great with it. And I was like, no, I'm not doing
You
it.
should have said no in Spanish. Just
I love-
really annoying.
I love the fact that you did that,
for,
and you're still sitting here these years later thinking that somehow she lost out.
She did. Last time, a good student. I took business instead, and it was terrible.
Lovely.
You never tell her that though.
No.
Never tell her that.
No,
Best
no.
decision you ever
She's
made.
watching right now.
Yeah.
If you're
I'm
watching,
looking forward to her in the
I'm
comments.
not going to say your name, but if you're watching, you know who you are.
Put in the comments.
She doesn't remember you.
Put in the comments, please. I don't remember you. You're nothing to me.
yeah, somehow she's watching the video, knows me, but says, I don't know who this man is.
Yeah. I had a student like that. Maybe it's you. Think if you had a student like that, it could be you. Please post your your derisory comments about the Oracle below.
Derisory. How dare you?
Or if you're not a teacher and just want to annoy him, make a new YouTube account. Call it Mrs. Spanish Teacher.
Please call it the Oracle Spanish Teacher. I beg of you.
If someone's got that much time,
the Oracle Spanish. I'm looking at you, Rob Nixon. The Oracle Spanish Teacher, and come on and comment. You were at best average at Spanish.
if you are out there, Rob, you will become a socio.
What do you mean? He is out there. He is out there.
If you're out there watching this, you will become a socio of the channel, not a friend of the channel if you do this.
He doesn't have the power to downgrade you like that.
I absolutely do. You have no authority, Jackie Weaver.
What's Jackie Weaver done?
She kicked him. She kicked him from the chat.
Oh, so funny. Well, I've had a really good time today. Good laugh. As you can see, there's a lot of excitement around the old world for us.
Yeah.
We're all working on various things that we could possibly use on the channel until it comes out as well. But we're definitely
Max has had a great time. He's got half his demons based.
Yeah, definitely some hobby enthusiasm going on there.
So close. I'm so annoyed. Just got to let the gnome pull correctly on the plate.
Once that one's done, only what, 28 to go?
Yeah, if I want to use that many on the channel.
Yeah, let's use 10. I didn't really think like that.
Little MSU course there.
I'm just trying to give you a chance to
I've got
get
a
it
4-up
done.
armor save.
Whoa.
Factually
It's
correct.
better than most core in the game. You name me another core unit outside of Warriors Chaos that's got a 4-up armor save.
Nice to around.
Literally, mate, no hesitation.
Nice to around. They got 2 up, mate.
Yeah. Chumps.
Empire Knights.
Dwarf
got 1 up.
Warriors.
Yeah, they're even worse.
Without the shields, Silver Helms have got 3 up.
Yeah. They're all mounted though. That doesn't count.
Dwarf Warriors ain't mounted.
Yeah, but they're look at them.
They're mounting,
They're
but they're not
Look at
mounted.
they're a joke, mate.
So, yeah, you can say they're a joke,
Yeah.
but I'd still take them over that cost.
You're soft.
I get a lot more of them. They've got a good armor save.
You get more of
parry.
them?
Yeah, because they're cheaper.
Are they?
Yeah, and it's cool, sir.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
not a
helpful.
it's not a witch or a Dark Rider, so I don't know.
Oh, Dark Shard. Whoa.
To be fair, Corsairs are expensive.
I think they're 10 points.
No, they're with the paired weapons. I think they're the same cost as a Witch Elf.
Which is 10 or 11.
Which is 11 points.
Right.
Which
Dwarf
is
Warrior.
why you never take Corsairs because they're the same cost as a Witch
Dwarf
Elf.
Warrior with his trusty shield, he's 8 points.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a Westeros First. Doesn't have Murderous Prowess. Doesn't have 2 attacks.
Doesn't matter when you're not dead, mate.
2 attacks with a pair weapon.
He's 5 to wounds, mate.
Yeah, but you don't even get to combat if I don't want you to.
You don't get
You're
to
moving
combat.
like 2, mate.
Well, yeah, you stand
Oh,
off me,
3.
mate. That's good for dwarves. We like that.
It is.
We like you standing there.
Joke to me.
28 inches, 23 inches is probably the optimised range for us. Stand about 23 inches.
Take away your shard dragon and you are.
You are nothing.
I'm just an artillery line with a very upset
If
dwarf
you
king.
want that big negative. Yeah, we all know
You're
you're gonna roll.
so-
We all know you're gonna roll a 1 on your grudge as well.
You're so weak that my rune of might does not affect you. That's it. That my axe believes you are so insignificant that it doesn't trigger the runic effect against you.
Imagine you have to have that axe. Imagine you need that too. Imagine that's what you're begging for.
Yeah,
Just raw power.
Why's to sheathe the ogre blade there and start insulting me?
Who used the ogre blade? Who used the
Every
ogre
dreadlord
blade?
in the game.
Not me.
Every dreadlord
Show
in the
me
game.
the dreadlord I've ran with an ogre blade.
You ran an ogre blade and all for members on your dreadlord.
No, I didn't. I didn't have a dreadlord.
Are you alright?
I had a master.
I played you. You had a dreadlord and you didn't do 5 warlocks.
Maybe you had a
No, he
Dreadlord
was a
against you, but you had a
master.
Master against everyone
Hey,
else.
he was a
I'm
dreadlord.
pretty sure he was a master.
It didn't matter. He died.
Because I had the
Oh my
level 4.
God.
I
Debbie
had the
Grits.
level 4. What's his name? I had level 4.
It's 3,000 points.
Egg. No, I don't think
You had a dreadlord as well.
It might have been.
He had the ogre blade.
I don't remember. Won a big sword.
I won
You won yourself then,
I won the ogre blade.
Oh, well, I'm pleased that you got to see that as well. Great stuff. Wholesome content here at TripleCrownWargaming.com. We look forward to seeing you for the next instalment of Loose Warhammer, where we may have more of this type of thing to discuss. We never know if there's going to
Maybe.
be more things that are
We hope.
revealed.
We
Base
hope.
chart is the thing we're all excited about now. Let's see some base sizes.
Yeah.
Yes, please, GW, if you're watching,
Yes.
please give us a base size chart. That's all we want. and a release date. But
Yeah.
mainly a Bayside shot.
We'll take the Bayside shot for now.
I will.
Maybe bases for sale at the same time.
I
as
think
base
that,
base would be
this is very greedy from the boys. I'll just
there
take
you
a
go.
release date. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time.
Remember to tag your friends and like, subscribe and share. Then head over to triplecrownwargaming.com and become a Knight of the Realm today.
What are you doing, mate?
Do it for Warhammer!